Gotham Knights. It's all about stepping into the boots of Gotham's protectors in a city that feels alive with danger and opportunity. The game puts you in the shoes of 4 iconic characters, Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood, all with their own distinct styles, abilities, and combat approaches. The combat system in this game is where the fun kicks in. Each character plays completely differently, and the combat is fluid, punchy, and satisfying. Nightwing brings acrobatic finesse, Batgirl offers technical precision, Robin brings stealth and gadgets, and Red Hood has brute force and ranged expertise. Swapping between them feels like jumping into a whole new playstyle, which keeps things fresh, no matter how long you play. The upgrade system adds another layer, letting you tweak and enhance your character to suit your preferences. Exploration is a big part of the game, and Gotham itself is a sprawling playground. The city isn't just a backdrop, it's a living, breathing space filled with activities, side missions, and hidden challenges. Gliding across rooftops or speeding through streets on a sleek Batcycle never gets old. It's not just about fighting crime. It's about immersing yourself in Gotham's gritty world and uncovering its secrets. It's a commitment to justice, action, and incredible storytelling. When it goes on sale, the discounts are just enough to feel like you've outsmarted the system. You can often find deals on major online gaming platforms or during seasonal events. Inotria: The Last Song, a game that brings the soul of Italy to life with every detail, where you're not just playing a character, but exploring a world steeped in folklore, history, and vibrant culture. The combat is an absolute blast. Inotria blends fast-paced action with a bit of tactical thought. You're not just mashing buttons or hacking away mindlessly. There's a rhythm and flow to it, almost like a dance. The mechanics feel responsive and tight, rewarding both skill and timing. And each enemy encounter feels different enough to keep you on your toes. 1 minute, you're squaring off against a creature straight out of a folktale, and the next, you're strategizing how to use the environment to your advantage. The variety keeps things interesting, and it's easy to lose track of time just enjoying the rhythm of combat. There's also a big focus on discovery. Inotria isn't about rushing from one objective to the next. It's about taking the time to get lost in its world. There are secrets to find, hidden paths to explore, and layers to uncover, making you feel like every corner could hold a new surprise. It's got that adventure vibe that so many games miss, and the game rewards you for being curious, taking those detours and soaking it all in. And the story, it's got this mystical quality that pulls you in, but without overwhelming you. You're not bombarded with endless lore dumps. Instead, you gradually uncover the history, culture, and myths that shape Inotria. Hi-Fi Rush. It's the kind of game that feels like an electric jolt of energy from start to finish. It's all about rhythm, creativity, and a relentless sense of fun. Imagine a world where everything, movement, combat, and even the environment syncs up to a beat. That's the magic of this game. It's not just about playing. It's about feeling like you're part of a live performance that you control. The combat is an absolute standout. Every punch, kick, and combo you unleash flows perfectly with the rhythm, making fights feel like a dance you're conducting. The game doesn't just let you attack enemies. It turns every battle into a chance to express yourself. Timing is key, and when you hit that perfect rhythm, it feels like you're in complete harmony with the game. You're not just fighting, you're performing, and it's exhilarating. The gameplay keeps things fresh by throwing new challenges your way. It's not just about mastering the rhythm in combat. It's about learning how to adapt that rhythm to different situations. Whether you're dealing with tricky enemies, environmental hazards, or clever puzzles, the game always keeps you on your toes. It's the kind of experience that pushes you to keep improving, but it never feels frustrating. Every success feels earned, and every failure just makes you want to dive back in for another try. Hi-Fi Rush is pure, unfiltered fun, wrapped in a rhythm-based action package. Every dollar spent on this game feels like a note in a perfect melody. Pacific Drive. It's not your typical driving game. Imagine a survival road trip with a seriously supernatural twist. You're behind the wheel, cruising through the mysterious and frankly eerie landscapes of the Pacific Northwest. And every trip feels like this unique blend of exploration, suspense, and the kind of curiosity that makes you say, what if I just drove a little further? So let's set the scene. You're in this old, beaten-up station wagon that's basically your best friend and home on wheels. And let me just say, this car isn't just a vehicle, it's practically a character. You're out there facing wild, unexplainable phenomena, and your car is right there with you, chugging along through storms, strange anomalies, and all kinds of supernatural hazards. You'll end up feeling like you're in this together, keeping it running with whatever you can find out there. Then there's the whole survival aspect. The cool thing is, you're not a superhero here. You're a regular person dealing with a very irregular situation, and the game really leans into that. You're scavenging for parts, fixing up your car, and trying to stay one step ahead of whatever the environment throws at you. It's got this real DIY vibe, where you're constantly tinkering with your ride, patching things up with duct tape and spare parts. There's something super satisfying about it, because each little upgrade or repair you make feels hard-earned. And since you don't know what you're going to face next, every tweak to your car feels like you're prepping for the unknown. And of course, the game has a way of making you care about that rusty car. Fort Solis. The first thing that really grabs you about Fort Solis is how it pulls you into its world. Right off the bat, it nails that eerie, isolated feel. You're on this remote Mars station, and something's clearly gone wrong. You can almost feel the quiet, cold atmosphere seep into you. What I love most about this game is its pacing. It's not an action-packed thrill ride. Instead, it's all about building suspense and making you feel like you're uncovering the mystery at your own pace. It's very narrative-driven, almost like you're in an interactive movie or one of those late-night sci-fi thrillers. You don't have all the answers, and the game doesn't throw them at you right away. It's all about exploration and discovery. And honestly, that's so refreshing. I found myself so absorbed in just walking around, piecing things together, and letting myself get lost in the story. The game also encourages you to explore, and that's where it gets even more interesting. You'll stumble upon logs, notes, and little clues that add to the story bit by bit. It's like you're this detective, piecing together what happened, and each discovery pulls you deeper into the mystery. There's something so satisfying about slowly uncovering the truth and piecing together the lives of people you never actually meet. It's that attention to detail that makes the whole experience feel rich and rewarding. The game doesn't hold your hand. You're given the freedom to explore, to dig around, to figure things out on your own. Mount & Blade 2. This isn't just a typical RPG or strategy game. It's like living out your own medieval fantasy. You start off as a humble character, but from the get-go, you feel like you're on this epic journey to carve out your destiny in a sprawling world filled with kingdoms, clans, and armies. One of the best parts? You're in full control of how you want to play. You could be a mercenary for hire, a fearless warrior leading your own band of soldiers, or even a shrewd trader moving goods across the land. There's so much freedom to just pick a path that feels right for you, and the game fully supports it, no matter what direction you take. The battles are where it gets really intense. You're not just watching the action, you're in the thick of it, swinging swords, firing arrows, and commanding your troops. And these battles are huge. You're part of these massive, chaotic skirmishes, and it feels like you're in the middle of an actual medieval battlefield. But Bannerlord isn't just about fighting. It's also about strategy. You're managing everything from your troops to your resources, deciding when to take risk or play it safe. Building alliances and managing relationships with different lords and factions adds this extra layer that makes it feel like a medieval version of Game of Thrones. Every decision you make, every alliance, and even every slight against another lord has consequences. One thing I love is the world itself. It feels alive. Villages and cities grow. People have their own lives. And you're part of this bigger world that moves forward. Bleak Faith. Forsaken. Diving into this game feels like stepping into a colossal maze, where every corridor, bridge, and stairway stretches endlessly. The environment is vast and interconnected, offering a sense of scale that's both impressive and overwhelming. Navigating through this world requires patience and a keen sense of direction, as the paths often twist and turn in unexpected ways. Combat is deliberate and requires careful timing. Each encounter demands attention, with enemies that can be unforgiving if underestimated. The mechanics are straightforward, but mastering them takes practice. Dodging, blocking, and striking at the right moment becomes second nature as you progress. Exploration is a significant aspect, with numerous hidden areas and secrets waiting to be discovered. The world is designed to encourage curiosity, rewarding those who take the time to venture off the beaten path. However, some areas may feel repetitive or lack clear direction, which can lead to moments of frustration. The game offers a variety of weapons and equipment, allowing for customization to suit different playstyles. Experimenting with different gear combinations can lead to new strategies and approaches to combat. Upgrading equipment and finding the right balance between offense and defense adds depth to the gameplay. While the game has its challenges, it also has moments of brilliance. Raji. It's an experience that takes you on a journey through a world inspired by Indian culture and legends, with an approach that feels both unique and deeply heartfelt. Now, the gameplay itself? It's a mix of fast-paced combat, clever platforming, and light puzzle solving, all wrapped up in a way that feels fresh. The combat is fluid and keeps you engaged without overwhelming you. You're given a set of tools to tackle your enemies, and it's all about finding your rhythm, learning how to move and strike in harmony. Battles never feel like a grind. They're moments of strategy and grace that keep you on your toes. What really keeps you hooked, though, is how the world feels alive and meaningful. Every area you visit is steeped in a sense of history and culture. Whether you're exploring ruins, scaling ancient structures, or navigating treacherous landscapes, it all feels like it belongs to a larger, connected world. Platforming also plays a big role here. It's not just about getting from point A to point B, but about making the journey itself exciting and dynamic. You'll find yourself leaping across gaps, scaling walls, and dodging obstacles in a way that feels natural and satisfying. It's smooth, intuitive, and adds a lot of momentum to the game. The enemies you face are not just mindless obstacles. They feel like they belong in this mythological setting. Each encounter feels purposeful, and the variety keeps things interesting. You're always adapting, always learning how to approach each new challenge, and that keeps the gameplay feeling fresh. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. It's a sequel to Deus Ex: Human Revolution, and it builds on everything that made that game great. Right off the bat, the world is what draws you in. It's set in a future where people with cybernetic enhancements, or AUGs, are treated like outcasts, and it really dives into these deep themes of segregation and oppression. You play as Adam Jensen, who's basically the coolest, most badass augmented human ever. He's got all these crazy high-tech upgrades that you can customize, and that's one of the best things about the game. It lets you play the way you want. Whether you're sneaking through vents like a ghost, hacking every terminal in sight, or going full-on combat mode with guns blazing, the choice is yours. The game doesn't force you down a certain path, and I love that freedom. The prog setting is dark, gritty, and packed with detail. It's a world that feels alive, with all these little stories happening around you. Every corner you turn, there's something to discover, whether it's a side mission, a hidden path, or just some cool piece of lore that fleshes out the world even more. The attention to detail is top-notch. The story itself is complex and layered, dealing with conspiracies, political intrigue, and moral choices. What makes Mankind Divided stand out for me is how immersive the experience is. You get so wrapped up in Jensen's world. Death's Door. This isn't just another action-adventure game. It's a journey filled with quirky humor, unexpected beauty, and a story that hits all the right notes without overwhelming you. Plus, you get to play as a crow. Yes, a sword-wielding, tiny, feathery reaper. And honestly, that's reason enough to dive in. You're a crow working as a reaper for the Bureaucratic Commission of Death. Your job is to collect souls. But, as you can imagine, things don't go quite as planned. The result? You're thrust into a mysterious world full of danger, intrigue, and plenty of darkly comedic moments. And despite the game's title, the tone is never too heavy. It strikes this perfect balance between melancholy and whimsy. The combat is tight, responsive, and wonderfully satisfying. You'll be slashing, dodging, and casting spells in a rhythm that feels smooth and natural. It's not overly complicated, but that's what makes it so fun. You can focus on the flow of the fight without being bogged down by mechanics. And the enemies? Oh, they're as creative as they are challenging. Each encounter feels different, with unique attack patterns that keep you on your toes. It's never frustrating, though. It's the kind of challenge that makes you want to jump back in and try again. Boss battles, in particular, are a highlight. They're big, bold, and beautifully designed, but they also feel fair. Every victory feels earned, and every defeat feels like a lesson learned. The pacing of the game is just right, too. It never feels like it's dragging. Werewolf the Apocalypse. This game dives headfirst into the savage world of werewolves and delivers an experience that's unapologetically primal. You step into the role of Kahal, a Garou, a warrior werewolf who fights for his pack and the environment against a soulless corporation bent on exploiting nature. It's not just about claws and fangs, it's about rage, redemption, and unleashing your inner beast. The gameplay revolves around 3 core forms that Kahal can shift between: human, wolf, and werewolf. Each form has its purpose, and switching between them is as seamless as it is essential. In human form, you can blend in, interact with the environment, and handle situations that require a more subtle approach. The wolf form is all about stealth and agility, letting you sneak past enemies or scout areas undetected. And then there's the Krynos form, the hulking, feral werewolf that turns every fight into an explosive display of raw power. Combat in Krynos form is where the game truly shines. It's fast, brutal, and completely satisfying. You're not just swiping at enemies, you're ripping through them with precision and fury. The game encourages you to experiment with different attack combos and strategies, making each battle feel dynamic. It's not just about brute force either. Timing, positioning, and knowing when to unleash your special abilities all play a part in turning the tide of battle. House Flipper 2, a game that's basically a dream come true for anyone who's ever looked at a fixer-upper and thought, yeah, I could turn that into a masterpiece. First off, it's all about freedom. You're not just renovating, you're completely in control. You'll knock down walls, replace floors, and even decide if that avocado green kitchen is a bold statement or a terrible idea. It's as much a game about design as it is about construction, and honestly, that's where the fun comes in. And let's not forget the tools of the trade. You're equipped with everything you need to turn chaos into calm. Sledgehammers for demolition, paint rollers for a fresh coat of personality, and even the all-important vacuum to tackle those post-Reno messes. It's oddly satisfying to see a dirty, broken-down space slowly become livable, beautiful, and, well, yours. But here's the real kicker: the variety. Each house you flip comes with its own quirks, challenges, and surprises. Maybe one place has ancient plumbing that's barely holding on, while another has a leaky roof that's seen better days. It's like a puzzle, but instead of solving it, you're rebuilding it from the ground up. If you love the idea of fixing up virtual homes without the back pain and real-life bills, this game is your jam. It's got the satisfying before and after magic that'll have you hooked. Spend your money on this? Absolutely. You're not just buying a game, you're buying hours of oddly therapeutic home improvement bliss. Neon White, a game that feels like it was custom built to blow your mind in the coolest, most stylish way possible. This isn't your typical first-person experience. It's like speedrunning, parkour, and deck building got together, had a brainstorming session, and created something truly unique. Here's the deal. Neon White is all about speed and precision. The game challenges you to blaze through beautifully designed levels as fast as you can, pulling off incredible stunts along the way. But it's not just about running. This is a game of strategy too. Instead of traditional weapons, you're working with soul cards, which double as both guns and movement abilities. For example, you might have a card that's a pistol, but also lets you do a double jump if you discard it. Figuring out when to shoot and when to use those movement abilities is the secret sauce that makes this game so addictive. And let me tell you, the levels in Neon White, they're like handcrafted puzzles designed to mess with your head. In the best way. Every stage feels like a playground where the developers are daring you to figure out the fastest route. Sure, you can go from point A to point B like a normal player, but the real fun is in discovering shortcuts, nailing perfect jumps, and optimizing every second of your run. The moment you realize you can shave a few milliseconds off your time, chef's kiss. The gameplay loop here is genius. You'll find yourself constantly replaying levels, not because you have to, but because you want to. Icarus. This is survival gaming at its most intense and rewarding. Icarus drops you onto an alien planet, where every moment is a test of your ability to adapt, craft, and endure. It's not just about staying alive, it's about thriving in a world that constantly pushes back. The gameplay revolves around timed missions, called prospecting sessions. You're sent down to the surface of Icarus with specific objectives, a time limit, and nothing but your wits and a few basic tools to get started. The pressure is real, because if you don't complete the mission and return to your orbital station on time, everything you've built, gathered, or crafted gets left behind. That ticking clock adds a unique layer of urgency to every decision you make. Crafting is a huge part of what makes Icarus so engaging. Starting with the basics, simple shelters and tools, you quickly work your way up to advanced technologies that can mean the difference between success and failure. It's incredibly satisfying to see your progress unfold as you unlock better gear, stronger weapons, and more efficient ways to gather resources. The balance of survival mechanics keeps you on your toes, with hunger, thirst, and extreme weather conditions always lurking in the background. The environment feels alive and unpredictable. From lush forests to frozen tundras, each biome comes with its own challenges and resources, pushing you to think strategically about where to set up camp and how to approach your mission. Outcast: A New Beginning. The game is a reboot to the original Outcast from the late 90s, which was ahead of its time back then, and this version really brings the world of Adelpha to life in a way that feels fresh, but still respects its roots. Right from the start, you're thrown into this vibrant alien world, and it's gorgeous. The landscapes are lush, filled with all these alien creatures, strange technologies, and different biomes that make each area feel distinct. It's got that sense of wonder that you get from classic sci-fi, where everything is unfamiliar, but you can't wait to explore it. And because the world is so open, you can approach missions however you want. There's a lot of freedom here, and the game doesn't really push you in one specific direction, which makes exploration feel natural. Combat has been overhauled and feels pretty fluid, which is great because the original could feel a bit clunky. Now, it's more streamlined, and there's a lot of variety in how you can approach battles. You've got futuristic weapons, gadgets, and some tactical options that let you outthink enemies instead of just outgunning them. But it's not just about the combat. The game really rewards you for taking the time to talk to NPCs, explore, and get immersed in the world. You can easily get sidetracked by all the side quests and little mysteries sprinkled throughout the game. One thing that stands out to me is the pacing. It's not a game that rushes you. You can take your time, get to know the world, and really savor the exploration. The Devil in Me. It's an interactive horror game where you're guiding a group of characters through an increasingly tense and creepy situation. Think of it as a blend of decision-making, exploration, and survival, with just enough room for you to question whether you made the right call or the worst mistake of your life. What makes this game so unique is its emphasis on player choice. The decisions you make feel immediate and impactful, and the ripple effects can turn even the smallest choice into something massive later on. That constant sense of what if keeps you on edge the whole time. Exploration is another big piece of the puzzle here. The environments are packed with little details, and combing through them often reveals clues, items, or paths you might have missed otherwise. But the game isn't just going to let you wander around in peace. There's always this lingering sense that something or someone might be just out of sight. It creates this incredible push-pull of curiosity versus caution. Do you dig deeper into that ominous room, or do you back away slowly and hope for the best? The game also brings in some clever mechanics to spice things up. You're not just walking around and making choices. You're solving puzzles, engaging in quick-time events, and trying to stay calm under pressure. And those moments of action feel so visceral because the stakes are constantly high. One misstep, and things can take a very dark turn. What really stands out about The Devil in Me, though, is how it captures that classic horror tension. War of Rights. It's a Civil War FPS that focuses heavily on teamwork and strategy. At first, I thought it would just be another typical shooter, but the attention to detail is something else. Like, you don't just run around with a gun. You're part of a company, and you actually need to coordinate with your team to survive. You're not a lone wolf here. It's almost like being on an actual battlefield, with that chaos and intensity all around you. The first time I joined a battle, I was a little overwhelmed, to be honest. You've got dozens of players on each side, all in uniform, marching in formation, and you can hear officers barking out orders. It's kind of amazing how much that atmosphere pulls you in. You're really part of something bigger, which you don't get in most games. And speaking of orders, this game really forces you to think before you act. There's no sprinting across the map and gunning people down here. You have to stick with your squad, follow orders, and time your moves carefully. It's like a slower pace, but in the best way possible. It makes every decision count. One thing I love is that you're encouraged to communicate. And I'm talking real communication, not just trash talk. You actually need to speak to your fellow soldiers to succeed. It reminds me of those old school LAN parties where you had to talk to each other to win. I've met some cool people just from having to strategize mid-battle. I also appreciate how historically accurate everything is. The developers really did their homework. The uniforms, the weapons, the way the battles play out, it's like a playable history lesson. Delta Force Hawk Ops. It's a first-person shooter that blends intense action with smart, strategic gameplay. It's got different modes that keep things fresh, whether you're into massive battles, extraction-style missions, or good old-fashioned team-based action. The multiplayer has some serious variety. One mode, Havoc Warfare, is all about large-scale combat. It's got big maps, tons of players, and vehicles to drive, fly, and absolutely destroy everything in your path. It's the kind of mode where 1 second you're sprinting through cover, and the next you're in a tank blowing up enemy positions. It's chaotic, it's fast, and it's a blast. Then there's Hazard Operations, which is more tactical and high stakes. You drop into a mission, gather loot, and try to escape without getting eliminated. It's one of those modes where every decision matters. Do you take the fight head on, or do you sneak around and avoid conflict? The tension is real, because losing means starting over with nothing. It's all about risk and reward, and it keeps every match exciting. Operators add another layer of strategy. Instead of just picking a loadout, you choose a character with unique abilities that can change how you play. Some are all about support, while others are better for recon or straight-up combat. It's not just about who shoots first, but how you use your operator's strengths to outplay the competition. Weapon customization is on another level. Remnant 2. If you've ever thought, I want Dark Souls but with guns, this is literally the game for you. The best part is how they mix that tough, Souls-like gameplay with co-op. Like, you're dodging and weaving through boss fights with your friends. What I didn't expect was how varied the worlds are this time around. You're not just in some post-apocalyptic setting. You're hopping between dimensions, and each one feels so distinct. 1 second, you're in this creepy, gothic forest, and the next, you're in this futuristic sci-fi city battling weird robotic enemies. The variety keeps things feeling fresh. Like you're never sure what the game's gonna throw at you next. Speaking of enemies, oh man, they do not mess around in this game. Every time you enter a new area, you get this uneasy feeling like, okay, what's gonna try to kill me here? And the bosses? Don't even get me started. They're so creative and challenging. It's like a new puzzle every time you face one. You're constantly trying to figure out the patterns, the weak spots, and how to stay alive. It's tough, but in a way that makes you want to keep trying. You know that feeling when a boss wipes the floor with you for the 10th time, but you finally crack it, and you just feel like a god? That's what Remnant 2 is all about. I think what really hooked me, though, is the way the game encourages you to try different builds. You've got these archetypes, right? And each one changes how you approach combat. Like, do you want to be the tanky guy, soaking up hits, or the guy running around sniping from the back? You can switch it up mid-game, too. Immortals of Avium. If you're tired of the usual swords, guns, or bows and arrows, then this game is going to feel like a breath of magical fresh air. It's a first-person shooter, but instead of the usual arsenal, you're slinging spells. Think of it like wielding a high-octane magic bazooka in each hand, but with finesse and strategy thrown into the mix. At its core, Immortals of Avium takes you into a world where magic isn't just some mystical force. It's woven into every aspect of life. It's called the Everwar, and magic is both the weapon and the battlefield. You play as a battle mage, someone who can manipulate this raw energy and turn it into a spectacular display of destruction and precision. You're not just surviving in this world, you're shaping it, one well-placed spell at a time. The coolest thing about this game, the combat. This isn't a game where you're just mindlessly casting the same spell over and over again. Oh no, Immortals of Avium makes you feel like a true master of magic. You've got 3 types of magic, blue, red, and green. And each one has its own vibe. Blue magic is your precision weapon, like a sniper spell for picking off enemies from afar. Red magic, pure explosive chaos. And green magic, fast, tricky, and perfect for keeping your enemies guessing. What makes the gameplay really shine is how you combine these magical abilities. So, if you've been craving a game that takes the familiar mechanics of a shooter and flips them into something fresh, magical, and downright exhilarating,